With this season being one of the weirdest seasons we've seen in a long time, in a sense, it also has been boring. Of course, we had moments along the way, but nothing really too exciting. The one thing that can make things more exciting, of course, will be trades. There's a fuck. With this season being one of the weirdest seasons we've seen in a long time, in a sense, it also has been boring. Of course, we had moments along the way, but nothing really too exciting. The one thing that can make everything better, trades. There are several teams that are underperforming and there are several teams that are overperforming. In this video, I will be telling you teams that need to make a trade right now to raise their ceiling, because the NBA is pretty wide open right now. I know we have juggernauts like the Suns or the Warriors, but I don't think there's a clear-cut champion. Like the past few years, we knew Warriors, Lakers, and Cavs, they were going to be in the finals. Crazy that only two of those teams, they had the same player, LeBron James. That's why we knew they were going to be in the finals. But we knew those guys were going to be in the finals. But last year, having a new finals with Giannis going against the Suns, that was just exciting. And I think it's going to be the same this year. I don't think we really have a dominant team. The Suns look good as of now, but the Suns are a beatable team. So teams need to make trades, and this is why I'm coming to you with this video. I'm going to be breaking down some trades that some teams should do. So, peace out. Stuttered a little bit. Got it off, though, nigga. Got it off. The team I'm going to be talking about is the Milwaukee Bucks. As of late, the Milwaukee Bucks have been struggling, and you can kind of attest that to a lot of things. They haven't had a consistent lineup. Chris Middleton has had an off year to some extent, and just lack of height. Brook Lopez, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't played since day one against the Nets. So they've been struggling. With them trying to make another championship push, they need to go out there and address two things: shooters and height. Players that the Bucks would love are players like Serge Ibaka, who can spread the floor and kind of give you everything that Brook Lopez gave you, but to a lower extent because Serge Ibaka is kind of out of his prime. But he's still a guy that can spread the floor, not really going to clog the paint for Giannis. Decent defender at his age and at his height. And he will fit perfectly with this team. And then you can go look at a guy like Robin Lopez. Really do all the same things that Serge Ibaka does, but to another lesser level. Like stuff like that. And then go out there and try to get a guy like Justin Holiday. They need more shooters on this team. They have a few shooters in Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton. Some days you can add Dante DiVincenzo to their list. But it's not wrong with adding more shooters. And you get Drew Holiday's brother. That could be another addition. That would be fun. But this team, they desperately need something because they've been looking bad as of late. Even with their big three playing, they've been looking bad. I think they're the 6th seed right now. And I know it's pretty tight in the East. Like the 6th seed is probably one game away from being 1 seed. I know it's pretty tight. But this team, they need to make a move because other teams are looking more dominant than they are. So that's it for the Bucks. The next team that we're going to talk about is the Utah Jazz. Now, this team for countless of years have failed to take the next step into being a real contender. And with the tough loss of Joe Ingles the other day, this team needs to make a move. To me, the West is wide open, like I told you guys earlier. Yes, we have the Suns. Yes, we have the Warriors, but those are teams that are beatable. A team like the Jazz can beat both of those teams. Maybe more the Suns. They can beat the Suns more because small lineup would kill Rudy Gobert against the Warriors. But those are still teams that the Jazz can beat. Of course, they need to make a move, though, because Joe Ingles, that's a big loss. And even with Joe Ingles, they won 2 of their last 11 games. That's bad for them when they were just the 3rd seed. I believe they're a 6th seed now. So they need to make a move. They need to go young with this move. You probably already know who I'm talking about. Jeremy Grant. Literally every team in the NBA wants Jeremy Grant. And I'm not even mad at it. He's that good of a player that he can fit on any team. He's young enough to fit on a rebuilding team. But he's talented enough. And he's more of a veteran to fit on a winning team. So any team would love a Jeremy Grant. This team would love a Jeremy Grant because they fit what he wants. He wants to be a first or a second option. And with this team, he will be a second option with this team right after Donovan Mitchell. But he doesn't take away from Donovan Mitchell. He can still hit spot-up shots. He can play off ball. He's better off ball than on ball, but when he's on ball, he's as consistent as it gets. I would love this fit with this team because it would be them going young while also winning. And I think they would be more of a contender adding a Jeremy Grant, other than just keeping Boyan Bogdanovic. Jeremy Grant should be that move. And I think that's a perfect fit. The team that we are going to focus on are the Cavs. You had to know I was going to throw my team here. The Cavs are a rising team in the league. Surprisingly, to a lot of people, not to me. I thought we were going to be a playing team, so I guess you could say to me too. I thought we were going to be a playing team, but we are way better than that. But we need to make a move. I don't know if anybody watched. Yesterday was probably the hardest game I've ever watched in my fucking life. Neither team, the Pelicans or the Cavs, had a point guard. Darius was out. The Pelicans they started point guard in Devontae Graham, but he's not even a point guard, and he's probably the most inconsistent player in the league. And you can just see neither team can get a flow. The brand of basketball that both teams were playing was so ISO heavy. It was so hard to watch. I think we went into halftime with 38 points. Team scored 38 points in the first 10 minutes. It was so hard to watch as a Cavs fan. And you can just attest that too. We don't have a secondary ball handler. We don't have a secondary scorer. The reason why Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are having this amazing season is because of Darius Garland. And you've seen when they don't have Darius Garland, Jared Allen scored 12 points yesterday. Evan Mobley scored 4. They have nobody to set them up. We need to go out there and get a secondary ball handler like a Karis LeVert or Eric Gordon, not to only set them up, but get shots for their own. Like I said, we looked terrible. We could not hit any shots. We have no shot creators other than Darius. We need to go out there and make a move. I would love a Karis LeVert. I would love an Eric Gordon. I was thinking about this earlier. It's probably unrealistic because this dude is just raising his value right now. And Anthony Simons with this, I would love that too. Just to have it. Just to have it. Because they don't know what they're doing over there with that guy. Just to have him in the backcourt with Darius, that would be fun. We need to go out there and get a secondary ball handler, or we will get bounced out the first round in this whole season. It won't look like a fluke. But outsiders will say it's a fluke. They would definitely say it's a fluke. But I hope we make a trade. Because trade deadline is next week. All these teams need to make a trade. But we have a couple more teams to go, so I'll see you there. It's been an up and down season for the Los Angeles Lakers. You knew I was going to add my other team in here too. It's been an up and down season. But with the amazing play of Russell Westbrook and Malik Monk as of late, yes, I said Russell Westbrook. If you're not paying attention because the media is not showing you that he's playing good, go pay attention and watch the games and look at his stats. Russell Westbrook has been hooping. And as of late, Anthony Davis, since he's came back, he's been looking a little bit like old Anthony Davis, as aggressive as he was back in the day in the bubble days. And, of course, with LeBron doing what he's doing, I still think we're a team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs. I think we're a scary team when it comes to the playoffs. But the one thing we're missing, somebody who hustles. Somebody who hustles would just fit so perfectly with this team. And if you're a real NBA fan, you probably already know where I'm going with this. Kenrich Williams. I would love a trade for a guy like Kenrich Williams. His nickname is Kenny Hustle. What did I just tell you? We need hustle. I would love that. We need that badly. We need somebody to go dive out there for the balls. We need somebody to guard the other team's best player. We need somebody to spot up. Doesn't really need the ball at all. Like, we need a person like that. So, hopefully we can go out there and make a trade for him. Even a guy like Justin Holiday, I would love that too. We need somebody to put around this core that we have, because with us being veterans, I believe we just add one more little piece. We're a team that doesn't want to get faced. We're a team that doesn't want to get messed with in the playoffs, man. I don't think a lot of teams want to mess with us. So, that's it for the Lakers. Philadelphia 76ers have to be one of the best teams in the East, and that is without their second best player. And with the way that Joel Embiid has been playing as of late, it's time for Dylan Moore to just be honest with himself. You're not going to go out there and get an elite star as of right now. I would put all my chips on Joel Embiid. Let Joel Embiid be him and get him just a little bit of help. You already know how I feel. I feel like Anthony Simons is a trade to make. But if you don't want to make that trade, at least get him something, bro, because y'all can win a championship this year. The way this dude is playing, I know he doesn't play like this all the time in the playoffs, but the way he's playing, I don't think he's stopping. He's dominant. He's what I wanted him to be for the longest time. If you just give him a little bit of hope, y'all can really do something in this playoffs because there's nobody that can really stop him. In the playoffs, y'all have a good chance against the Nets. I think y'all beat every other team but the Nets. Oh, and the Bucks. They don't beat the Bucks. But still, just get him a little bit of hope, and then I'll be like, okay, y'all can go against the Bucks. If you give him a CJ McCollum, yeah, they can do something against the Bucks. Just give him some hope right now. Forget Ben Simmons, Daryl Morey. Just stop being stingy and give up that Ben Simmons because James Harden is not walking through that door. I'm being honest with you. No matter what the rumor said earlier, James Harden is not leaving the Brooklyn Nets. Him and KD are like brothers. I don't see him leaving at all. So just put all your chips on your young star, man, and just get him a little bit of hope because he's ready. And y'all got to go with him because he can take y'all somewhere. He can take y'all really far. Mavs have one of the best players in the league, and especially when it comes to playoff time, we know Luka steps it up to another level, a godly level, where he's just unstoppable, dogging two of the best defenders we've seen of all time in his first 2 years in the playoffs. We know that with him. But the one thing that they never really had was help around him. And this year they actually have that in guys like Kristaps Porzingis, who's having a bounce-back season, and a guy like Jalen Brunson, who's having a season where he's putting his name on the map. And as of late, they have been the best defense in the league. And like I told y'all, I don't see the West as being the juggernaut. I don't see a juggernaut team in the West no more. And with a dude like Luka, y'all can beat anybody on any given night. So go out there and get him some help, especially when it comes playoff time. Get him some help. You hear Jalen Brunson saying he wants $20 million. If you're not comfortable with giving him $20 million, because I feel like he definitely deserves it. He's a hooper. He definitely deserves it. But if you're not comfortable with giving him that money, if you don't feel like he's not that two that you stick next to Luka, put his name on the trade deadline, on the trade block. Talk to teams about what they would give you for Jalen Brunson because he can get you some pieces. He can go out there and get you a guy like a Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant will fit perfectly on the team. A guy that doesn't need the ball at all. I already talked about Jeremy Grant earlier, but you already know what he adds to the game. A guy like Miles Turner, I don't feel like I wouldn't trade him a Jalen Brunson for Miles Turner, but just look at it. Like, look at stuff to raise your ceiling because with Luka, being Luka, y'all can beat anybody in the league in a 7-game series. I'm just being honest. In a 7-game series, I don't see a player in the NBA that stops Luka. He already beat the two juggernauts. Who's stopping him after that? You know what I'm saying? So go out there and find somebody that can help that dude in the playoffs. I believe KP is not going to have a bad playoffs like he had the last 2 years. KP is KP. KP has been dogging this year, not only offensively, but he's back to his New York ways on the defensive side. He is one of the main reasons, if the only reason why they are the number one defense this whole calendar year, and I mean 2022. So that's it for this video, though. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. This is a lot of editing. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow with a Jokic video, I think. Peace out.